Have you ever looked at your life and wondered, why is everything happening like this? Why are things not working out the way I planned? Maybe you tried so hard for something, a dream job, a relationship, an opportunity, and it slipped right out of your hands. Or maybe you prayed night after night, begging Allah for a specific outcome, but instead the doors shut in your face. At that moment, it feels heartbreaking. It feels like your prayers are not being heard, like your efforts are wasted, like your life is not going the way it should. But here's the truth you need to hold on to tightly. Allah's plan for you is far greater than anything you could ever imagine for yourself. Sometimes we think we know what's best for our lives. We create lists, goals, visions, and dream. We say, by this age, I'll achieve this. By that time, I'll get married. By next year, I'll buy this. I'll travel there. We plan everything. But we forget that our sight is limited, while Allah's sight encompasses everything. Allah knows the hidden, the unseen, the things that would harm you if they were given to you, and the things that would elevate you if you just waited a little longer. You see, your life is like a puzzle with pieces scattered everywhere. You only see a small corner of it, but Allah sees the entire picture. Think about the story of Yusuf A.S. As a child, he had a beautiful dream, a vision of greatness. But what happened next? His own brothers threw him into a well. Later, he was sold as a slave, then imprisoned for years. If you look at those events one by one, you would say, this is unfair. This is too much. This is not the life he deserved. But every single event was a stepping stone toward the fulfillment of Allah's promise. Every hardship, every betrayal, every loss, it was Allah setting the stage for Yusuf to rise to a position of honor and power. If Yusuf A.S. hadn't been thrown into the well, he wouldn't have been taken to Egypt. If he hadn't been imprisoned, he wouldn't have been known for interpreting dreams. If none of that happened, he wouldn't have become the minister who saved nations from famine. Do you see the beauty? What looked like destruction was actually direction. What looked like rejection was actually protection. And what looked like delay was actually preparation. The same applies to you. Maybe Allah closed a door you desperately wanted to enter because behind that door was harm you could not see. Maybe Allah delayed a blessing you asked for because you weren't ready yet. And if you received it too early, it would destroy you. Maybe Allah took away something you loved because He wanted to replace it with something far better. We cry over what we lose, but Allah sees what's coming. And if you trust Him, you will one day look back and say, Alhamdulillah, for unanswered prayers. The Prophet Muhammad, taught us a powerful mindset. He said, wondrous is the affair of the believer, for there is good for him in every matter. And this is not the case with anyone except the believer. If he is happy, he thanks Allah and there is good for him. And if he is harmed, he shows patience and there is good for him. Sahih Muslim. This means that no matter what happens, ease or hardship, joy or sadness, as long as you keep your faith, Allah is always writing goodness for you. Now here's the challenge. In the middle of your trial, it's hard to see that goodness. When you're crying, when you feel broken, when you're questioning why things didn't happen the way you wanted, that's when Shaitan whispers, Allah doesn't love you. See, your du'as don't work. But those are lies. Allah loves you more than you can even imagine. More than your own mother loves you, and He would never decree something for you except that there is goodness hidden within it. Think about it like this. A child wants candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The mother says no. The child cries thinking the mother is cruel. But the mother knows what the child cannot see, that too much candy will harm their health. That's how Allah's plan works. We may cry, we may not understand, but Allah knows what's good for us in ways we cannot comprehend. Your setbacks may actually be setups for something far greater. That delay in your marriage, maybe Allah is protecting you from heartbreak and preparing someone better for you. That rejection letter, maybe Allah is redirecting you to a career that will give you more fulfillment and barakah. That closed door, maybe Allah is guiding you toward a door you didn't even know existed, one that will change your life in unimaginable ways. So the real question is not, why did this happen to me? But rather, what is Allah teaching me through this? Because when you shift your perspective, you'll begin to see trials not as punishments but as opportunities. Opportunities to grow closer to Allah, to build patience, to strengthen your faith, and to trust His wisdom. The day will come when you'll look back and realize that everything you thought was breaking you was actually building you. Everything you thought was a loss was actually a blessing. And every moment you felt abandoned was actually a moment Allah was holding you closer than ever. When we talk about Allah's plan being greater than what we can imagine, it's not just a nice saying to comfort ourselves. It's a reality proven time and again throughout history, through the stories of prophets, righteous believers, and even in our own lives, if we take the time to reflect. Think for a moment about Musa a.s. As a baby, his mother was commanded by Allah to place him in a basket and let him float down the Nile River. Imagine the pain of a mother letting go of her child like that. To her, it must have felt like the end. But what she couldn't see was that Allah was orchestrating the most remarkable plan. That very river led Musa a.s. straight into the palace of Pharaoh, the most powerful man at the time. Instead of being killed like the other boys, he was raised in luxury, educated in the palace, and eventually became the one who confronted Pharaoh himself. What looked like loss was actually divine protection. What looked like separation was actually preparation for a greater mission. Your life may carry similar moments. Times when you're forced to let go of something you thought you could never live without. Times when Allah takes you away from comfort and places you in difficulty. But just like Musa's mother, you have to trust that Allah sees the full picture and His plan is unfolding in ways you cannot yet understand. Another example is Maryam a.s. She endured one of the greatest tests, giving birth alone, facing accusations and experiencing deep pain. Yet Allah's plan for her was extraordinary, to be the mother of Isa, a prophet of honor and mercy. Through her trial came a legacy that inspires believers until today. If Maryam a.s. had not gone through the hardship, she would not have reached the level of honor that Allah decreed for her. Similarly, your trials may be the very means through which Allah elevates you, honors you, and brings light into the world through you. This is why we are told in the Quran, but perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you. And perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows, while you know not. Surah Al-Baqarah. This verse is a direct reminder that our perception is limited, while Allah's knowledge is infinite. We chase things thinking they'll make us happy, but Allah protects us by withholding them. We run from trials thinking they'll destroy us, but Allah strengthens us through them. Now pause for a second and think about your own life. Reflect on a moment when something didn't go the way you wanted. At the time, it broke you. Maybe you cried. Maybe you questioned Allah. But later, when you looked back, didn't you see that Allah saved you from something worse? Didn't you realize that if things had gone your way, you would have missed out on something better? This reflection is powerful because it trains your heart to trust Allah in the present and future, even when things don't make sense right now. But here's the problem. We live in a world of instant results. We want everything now. We want prayers answered immediately, careers to take off instantly, relationships to work out without delay. But Allah's wisdom doesn't operate on our timelines. The delay is often the biggest mercy. Because while you're waiting, Allah is shaping you, preparing you, and aligning circumstances in your favor. The delay isn't denial. The delay is divine design. Let's look at an everyday example. Imagine you're driving, and suddenly you're delayed by traffic. You're frustrated because you're late. But what if Allah delayed you to protect you from an accident up ahead? Or what if the delay positioned you to meet someone who would change your life? These small daily events are reminders that Allah's plan is constantly active, in ways seen and unseen. And let's not forget, sometimes Allah's plan is not about this world at all, but about the hereafter. Maybe He withholds a worldly blessing because He wants to give you something eternal in Jannah. Maybe your unanswered dua in this world is being saved for you as a reward that you'll enjoy forever in the next life. The Prophet ﷺ told us, that on the day of judgment, when people see the rewards stored for their unanswered du'as, they will wish that none of their du'as were answered in this life. Imagine that. The thing you're upset about today may be the very thing that secures your eternal happiness. So the real strength of a believer lies in surrender, in saying, Ya Allah, I don't understand, but I trust you. I don't see the wisdom, but I believe in your wisdom. I don't know the future, but I know you are the best of planners. That surrender brings peace to the heart. Because when you let go of control and put your trust in Allah, you free yourself from constant anxiety. You no longer feel destroyed when things don't go your way, because you know Allah's way is better. But how do we strengthen this trust practically? The first step is dua. Keep talking to Allah. Even when things don't make sense, pour your heart out to Him. Tell Him your fears, your pain, your confusion. The act of dua itself connects your heart to the one who controls everything, and that connection brings peace. The second step is sabr, patience. Patience doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It doesn't mean you don't cry. It means you hold on to faith even while you're hurting. You remind yourself, this is temporary. This trial has a purpose. The third step is shukr, gratitude. Even in hardship, find something to thank Allah for. Gratitude shifts your perspective. When you focus on blessings, you strengthen your heart to endure trials, because you realize that Allah has already given you more than you could ever count. And the fourth step is tawakkul, true reliance on Allah. This means doing your part, working hard, making efforts, but leaving the outcome to Him. Tawakkul is not laziness. It's not sitting back and doing nothing. It's working with excellence, then surrendering the results to Allah, knowing He will choose the best for you. When you live like this, you begin to see your life in a new light. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstance. You stop asking a why me and start saying a try me. You face life with courage because you know Allah is with you. You stop comparing your journey to others because you know each soul has its own unique story written by Allah. Remember this, what is meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. This belief frees your heart. No rejection, no delay, no loss can break you when you know that Allah's plan is perfect. And perhaps the most beautiful thing is that even when you make mistakes, even when you take wrong turns, Allah's mercy is so vast that He can turn those mistakes into lessons, those wrong turns into redirections, those sins into means of repentance that bring you closer to Him than ever before. Truly, His plan is greater than anything we can imagine. Life will always test you in ways you never expect. You may be hit with sudden loss, betrayal from someone you trusted, financial struggles or health challenges. In those moments, it's easy to ask, why me? Why now? But the truth is, these tests are not meant to break you. They're meant to shape you. They are reminders that your life is not random. Your story is being written by the one who knows the beginning, the middle, and the end. And Allah never writes a story for His servant, except that it is filled with wisdom, mercy, and hidden blessings. Think about Ibrahim, A.S. He was tested in ways that would seem unbearable to any human. He was thrown into a fire, commanded to sacrifice his beloved son, and faced rejection from his own people. Yet every test elevated him. Every hardship purified him. And through it all, Allah honored him as one of the greatest prophets, making his story remembered and celebrated by generations until the end of time. What seemed impossible, being saved from fire, being blessed with a son in old age, building the Kaaba in a barren desert, became possible because Allah's plan was always greater. This is the lesson we must carry in our heart. Or no test is wasted. No pain is meaningless. No delay is without purpose. Your struggles are not punishments, they are pathways. Pathways leading you to growth, resilience, and closeness to Allah. But here's something even more powerful. Allah's plan is not only about the trials, it's also about the unexpected gifts. Think about the countless blessings in your life right now that you never even asked for. The heartbeat inside you, the air you breathe, the roof over your head, the family members who love you, the times Allah protected you from harm you didn't even know was coming. Every one of these is part of His plan. Every blessing, seen and unseen, is Allah telling you, I am with you. I am providing for you. Trust me. The Prophet Muhammad said, know that if the entire nation were to gather together to benefit you with something, they would not benefit you except with what Allah had already prescribed for you. And if the entire nation were to gather to harm you with something, they would not harm you except with what Allah had already prescribed against you. Tirmidhi, this hadith is a shield for your heart. It means that no one can take away what Allah has written for you. Not a boss, not a friend, not an enemy, not even yourself. What Allah decrees will reach you no matter what, and what is not decreed for you will never reach you no matter how hard you chase it. So why do we stress so much? Why do we lose sleep over things we cannot control? Because we forget the one who controls everything. Once you truly internalize that Allah's plan is perfect, your heart will find peace. You'll stop running after the world in desperation, and you'll start walking through life with trust. You'll stop seeing closed doors as failures and start seeing them as redirections. You'll stop fearing the future because you know the future is already taken care of by the best of planners. Let's be honest. Trusting Allah is not always easy. It requires surrender. It requires letting go of the illusion of control. It requires patience when everything inside you wants results now. But that's exactly why trust is so powerful. Because it transforms worry into worship. It turns anxiety into tranquility. It replaces fear with hope. And one day you will look back on your life and see the masterpiece Allah was painting all along. The heartbreaks that made you stronger. The delays that taught you patience. The losses that brought you closer to Him. The unanswered du'as that led you to better ones. You'll realize that every tear, every trial, every disappointment was part of a bigger story. A story that was never about destroying you, but about guiding you. So today, if you are struggling, remind yourself, Allah's plan for you is greater than you can imagine. Your life may not look the way you envisioned, but it is unfolding exactly as Allah intends. Allah never intends anything except with love and wisdom. Trust His timing. Trust His wisdom. Trust His mercy. Because at the end of the day, His plan is not only greater than yours, it is perfect. And now, I want to leave you with this final reminder. The story Allah is writing for you is not finished yet. No matter where you are right now, no matter how broken you feel, no matter how confused you are, the author of your story is the one who turns darkness into light, sorrow into joy, loss into gain, and hardship into ease. Keep walking in faith. Keep trusting the process. Because one day you'll look back and say, Subhanallah, Allah's plan was far better than mine. If this message touched your heart, don't let it end here. Share it with someone who needs hope today. And if you want more reminders that strengthen your faith and bring peace to your soul, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Together, let's keep reminding each other that no matter what happens, Allah's plan is always greater than what we can imagine.